Good morning. It is 10 o'clock, and I'm going to call the meeting to order. And if you would just join me with the flag salute, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
To the flag of the United States of America,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks, Bob.
Public notice statement, please, Madam Secretary.
Good morning, everyone. Adequate public notice has been given pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act. Notice has been posted at the board's office and website, emailed to the Department of State, and to newspapers of broad circulation within the state.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Holden?
Here.
Commissioner Solomon?
Here.
Commissioner Chivukula?
Yeah.
Commissioner Gordon?
here.
He's here. Commissioner Gordon obviously will be joining us by phone today. Our next regularly scheduled meeting, please.
Our next regular board meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, December 15 at 10 a.m. It will be live streamed via YouTube.
Thank you. We will be having an executive session today, and the board will be considering an executive session. Miscellaneous item A, which is the matter of the Broadband Access Study Commission. Staff recommendation to issue a request for responses to provide Broadband Access Study Commission needs. And the board will be taking action on this item during the regular session. Executive session should not last more than 10 minutes. And will the Attorney General's office please explain the justification for going into executive session?
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Deputy Attorney General Matt Koelik.
You didn't look like Michael.
He's taking a well-deserved rest. Miscellaneous item 9A falls within the contract negotiation and attorney-client privilege exceptions to the Open Public Meetings Act. These exceptions are found in New Jersey Statute 10:4-12B7.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are in executive session. Anyone who is not part of the Board of Public Utilities, please leave.
Come back.
I just have a couple of comments to make. First of all, I would like to welcome everyone back. I've seen many of you during the course of the past 2 days and so on, but welcome back to our regular schedule. And it, up until the last moment, I have to be honest with you, I thought it would be postponed again, but we finally got to the point where we're here, and I wanted to thank those who stopped in for the breakfast on Monday, and having the chance to just socialize a little bit before we got going again. So, welcome back. If you have any questions or any concerns, you know that I am always available. The division director is always available, and so on. So, but it's good to see all of you. And I have to honestly say, and when I was a school teacher, I said the same thing every September. I missed you, and it's really good to see you. Also, I want to wish everyone who observes a happy Hanukkah. We're almost in the middle of Hanukkah now, and I hope those of you who were good got some nice gifts. And even those of you who weren't good, I hope you got nice gifts.
Might not be on
I'm going to mention again, even though I'm preaching to the choir and probably the folks who are viewing us via a live stream don't fall into this category, but my hope is that you get the word out and continue to get the word out as far as arrearages are concerned. This is an ongoing problem. I have to tell you, the arrearage numbers are not coming down. As a matter of fact, they're in some cases increasing. So people are not reaching out in the numbers that we anticipate. The utilities have initiated a full court press to try to get folks to reach out to them so people can learn about what is available if they need help. Also, the utilities are willing to work with people to set up payment plans. So it's extremely important. At some point, people are going to be hit with fantastic bills. This is not free money. You're still obligated to pay your bill. If you have trouble paying that bill, there's assistance available here in the state of New Jersey, and we're very fortunate that we have the ability to help people. Or set up a payment plan with your utility. They're more than willing to sit down and work with you. We here at the BPU have initiated, over the past number of months, a social media blitz. Again, to encourage people to try to whittle down some of the money that they owe to the utilities. So, we're going to keep mentioning this until December 31st. And I guess we only have one more meeting between now and then anyway. But it's vital. Because at some point, and of course we're in the winter season, which delays some shut-offs and things of that sort, but you don't want to be in a position where you're risking that type of action. Or in a position where at the end of a certain period of time you owe thousands of dollars. So for your own benefit, and again, those of you who are listening to us, viewing us on live stream, if you know people in that position, please encourage them to reach out and seek help. And as I've said before, I know for many people, this is the first time in their lives that they have to reach out and ask for help. And that can be embarrassing, I understand that. But that's why we live in a society that cares. One that reaches out and wants to help those less fortunate or those who are in need of help. Because any one of us sitting here or listening to this can be put in a position where we need help. Any one of us. And I want to live in a society where that help is available. So please, do yourselves a favor. Reach out. I'm trying to think between now and December 15th, which is our next meeting, if there's anything that's happening that I don't think so. We're caught up to date. Army-Navy game, okay. Wedding. Anybody else have any,
I just,
Yes.
Mr. President, I just want to congratulate Majid Hassan from the Office of Cable Television and Telecommunication for 33 years of service. Whenever I look at people giving that much of their life to an organization, there are two reasons. One, they're either dedicated or they have unsuccessful job hunting. So I think he stayed here because he wanted to contribute to this organization. There are so many people who have taken retirement this year. I just want to thank all of them for their dedication and creating that institutional knowledge that we can carry forward so young faces who are coming to the organizations can giving the baton, handing over the baton to the young people. Thank you.
anyone else? Okay, thank you. Let's go into our regular agenda now, and first up is audits. Alice?
Consent.
Yes, we have to do the consent agenda. Why didn't you tell me? I always forget that. Why?
Thank you, Commissioner. On the following consent agenda items, 1A, 2A, 2B, 2C, 3A, 3B, 3C, 4A, 5A, 5B, 5C, 5D, and 9A.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Holden?
Yes.
Commissioner Solomon?
Yes.
Commissioner Chukula?
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon?
Yes.
President Fiordito?
Yes. Now, Alice, and this particular item, we're going to be taking 2 votes, is that right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, you'll be taking the 2 votes on that, exactly. Before you this morning is agenda item 1A, a third-party supplier who failed to comply with certain provisions of NJSA 48:3-78, etc., and the New Jersey Administrative Code NJAC 14:4-1.1. Titan Gas LLC, doing business as Clean Sky Energy LLC, continued to operate as a third-party supplier after their license expired due to not filing their annual information update form prior to their license anniversary date. In order to resolve the matter of the violation, Titan Gas LLC, doing business as Clean Sky Energy, filed an offer of settlement of $10,000 with the board for approval. In addition, Titan filed an initial application to be a third-party supplier to provide electric power supply and gas supply services for approval. This agenda item involves the 2 separate votes which you mentioned. Staff believes that the offer of settlement is reasonable based upon the alleged violations for the company and recommends that the board accept the offer of settlement offered by Titan Gas, doing business as Clean Sky Energy LLC, subject to the conditions set forth in these settlement offers and draft orders. Given that there are no, and then given later on, given that there are no investigations pending with regard to Titan currently right now, and we have received no complaints, staff recommends that the board approve their initial license application to be a third-party electric power supplier and gas supplier.
I move acceptance of the offer of settlement. Second.
Questions, comments? Roll call.
On the motion to approve staff's recommendation to accept Titan Gas LLC doing business as Clean Sky Energy, all for a settlement. Commissioner Holden?
Yes.
Commissioner Solomon?
Yes.
Commissioner Chivukula?
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon?
yes,
President Fiordaliso?
Yes. I'm sorry.
I move the issuance of the initial licenses of the electric and gas supply effective December 1, 2021.
Second.
Questions, comments? Roll call.
On the motion to approve staff's recommendation to accept Titan Gas LLC doing business as Clean Sky Energy initial application. Commissioner Holden?
Yes.
Commissioner Solomon?
Yes.
Commissioner Chivukula?
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon?
yes,
President Fiordaliso?
Yes. Thank you, Alice.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
There are no items under cable television for consideration or telecommunications or water. That brings us to reliability and security. JB? This item relates to JCP&L.
Good morning, Mr. President and Commissioners.
Good morning.
All right. This morning I present a matter of the verified petition of Jersey Central Power and Light Company seeking a temporary waiver of the requirements of NJAC 14:5-14.2 and the company's meter sampling plan pursuant to NJAC 14:1-1.2. NJAC 14:5-14.2 periodic testing of electric meters requires electric meters to be tested on different intervals depending on kilowatt rating or by a variable interval or statistical sampling technique approved by the board. A statistical sampling plan based on ANSI Z1.9 was approved by the board on March 29, 2019. The new sampling plan took effect on January 1st, 2020. On February 19, 2020, the board issued an order in the petition of Rockland Electric Company for approval of an advanced metering program and for other relief, lifting the previously imposed moratorium on the filing of pre-approval for advanced metering infrastructure, AMI, programs and requiring each utility to file petitions for AMI implementation or update previously filed petitions for AMI implementation with the board. On July 13, 2020, JCP&L filed a petition requesting a waiver of its meter testing program, followed by its AMI plan filed on August 27, 2020. On August 30th, 2020, board staff requested additional data. On September 29, 2020, Rate Council requested additional data, followed by an additional request on November 24, 2020. Board staff and Rate Council reviewed JCP&L's responses to discovery requests, and the parties have discussed terms during several settlement conferences. The parties have agreed upon the attached stipulation of settlement. The attached settlement contains mutual balancing and is in the public interest. Staff recommends that the board accept the terms and conditions of the attached stipulation of the settlement.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments for JB? Roll call.
On the motion to approve staff's recommendation, Commissioner Holden?
Yes.
Commissioner Solomon?
Yes.
Commissioner Chivukula?
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon?
yes,
President Fiordaliso?
Yes. Thank you, JB.
Thank you very much.
That brings us to customer assistance, and there are no items for consideration. Brings us down to clean energy and a energy efficiency incentive exceeding $500,000. Dustin?
Morning, Mr. President,
Morning.
Commissioners. Verizon New Jersey submitted an application under the Large Energy Users Program requesting board approval of a financial incentive of $679,282.53 for lighting replacements at 18 telecommunications facilities throughout New Jersey. This proposed project has a total cost of $1,354,783.80. If approved, this application would cover the replacement of 12,515 existing fluorescent, metal halide, and CFL fixtures with new, lower wattage LED fixtures in the telecommunications facilities. Annually, this project would conserve 2,058,431 kilowatt hours of electricity and reduce peak demand by an anticipated 399.37 kilowatts. The proposed project has an estimated annual energy cost savings of $186,635.99. Staff recommends approval of the application for the total estimated incentive amount.
So moved. Second.
Questions, comments?
Mr. President, I just want to
President?
Yes, hold on, Bob, a minute.
Oh,
Sure.
thank you, Dustin, for providing, not only answering the question, but also follow up, and I really appreciate that.
Bob?
Yes, I just wanted to note for the record that this project does include some incentives for LED lighting, as I recall. And I think it's worth noting that the board at an earlier point determined that LED lighting should be a lower priority, but this application was submitted before that decision was made. I just thought that should go on the record.
Okay, that's correct. Any other comments? Questions? Roll call.
On the motion to approve staff's recommendation, Commissioner Holden,
Yes.
Commissioner Solomon,
Yes.
Commissioner Chivukula,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
President Fiordaliso.
Yes, thank you, Dustin.
Thank you.
That brings us to clean energy items B and C, which are going to be presented by Scott Hunter. First one involving solar.
Yes, sir. Hello, Commissioners.
Morning, Scott.
Item 8B relates to the petition from Washington Solar Farm and Quakertown Solar Farm, LLC, for eligibility to generate transition renewable energy certificates from two proposed solar electric generation facilities in Franklin and Washington Townships. Petitioner proposes a pilot program for dual use or agrivoltaic systems that would consist of two photovoltaic systems, each expanding upon an existing energized photovoltaic system and placed over an ongoing agricultural or horticultural operation. Submitted on June 4th, 2021, the petition requests eligibility for a 10 megawatt AC and an 8 megawatt AC pilot project in the Transition Incentive Program with TRECs valued at a 1.0 factor or $152 per megawatt hour. The petitioner makes this request based on the board's January 8, 2020 order that enabled developers with new or innovative solar technologies to file a petition with the board requesting that these type projects be assigned a TREC factor. On July 9, 2021, the governor signed into law the Dual Use Solar Act of 2021. The Dual Use Act specifically directs the board in consultation with the Secretary of the Department of Agriculture to develop a dual use solar energy pilot program to develop or to permit development of solar generation facilities on unpreserved farmland while maintaining the effective land in active agricultural or horticultural use. The dual use pilot is to last for 3 years and to allow up to 200 megawatts of solar projects on unpreserved farmland. The act authorizes and encourages such projects up to 10 megawatts each and permits land used for a dual use solar project to be eligible for farmland assessment under certain conditions. The statute requires the board to develop rules for the dual use pilot, including the criteria for project selection, which the board has been tasked with implementing with the Secretary of the Department of Agriculture. The board must develop robust metrics and requirements for projects seeking to participate in the pilot program with respect to agricultural or horticultural production. establishment of baseline farm productivity, and remedies if those agricultural or horticultural targets are not met, measurement and verification methods, and other programmatic requirements that make the requests in this petition premature. Further, the statute requires the board to engage in a competitive pilot process that would facilitate comparison and evaluation of projects. This type of competitive process ensures that New Jersey ratepayers get the maximum benefit in terms of environmental benefit, clean energy, and agricultural production and cost. The petitioners also asked for oral argument on the ground that the pilot projects have a long and unique history, and that oral argument would help the board better understand why the project should be assigned a TREC factor of 1.0. They also asked that the petition be transferred to the Office of Administrative Law. Staff recommends that staff provides the following 3 recommendations to the board. Staff recommends the board find that the conditions proposed by the petitioner for their pilot projects includes no reference to the criteria or processes for selection of projects required in the pilot program established by the Dual Use Solar Act of 2021. Staff further recommends the board conclude that the petitioner's proposed pilot projects are premature and potentially inconsistent with the more robust dual-use pilot program mandated by the statute. And finally, staff recommends the board deny the request for oral argument and deny the transfer of the petition to the Office of Administrative Law.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments?
Thank you, Mr. President. Scott, one thing I heard yesterday in the public hearing, is a couple of commenters mentioned that, by the time we come up with the program, it may take a few months, I think. So maybe at least they claim that we may be missing out on opportunities. So I just want
Yes, Commissioner, that was in the first stakeholder meeting on the competitive solicitation incentive program. We're working on dual tracks, dual paths with the development of siting criteria in the competitive solicitation incentive program, as well as developing a straw proposal on the dual use solar pilot program. So I don't think one will be holding up either.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Roll call.
On the motion to approve staff's recommendation, Commissioner Holden,
Yes.
Commissioner Solomon,
Yes.
Commissioner Chivukula,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
President Fiordaliso.
Yes. 8C. Scott?
Yes, sir. This item relates to a petition filed by DSM Nutritional Products, which operates a manufacturing facility in Belvedere, New Jersey, powered by 2 solar electric generation facilities and a natural gas-fired combined heat and power facility. DSM asked the board to direct JCP&L to net meter the electricity produced by their second on-site solar facility and to provide DSM with a retail credit on its electric bill for the energy produced by the solar facility since the date it commenced operations. The board received motions to intervene in the case by JCP&L and Bloom Energy. Based upon the review of the petition and the motions filed by JCP&L, Bloom, and Rate Counsel, staff provides the following 4 recommendations for the board. Staff recommends the board first retain this matter for hearing by the board and accordingly designate a commissioner as the presiding officer with authority to rule on all motions that arise during the pendency of this proceeding and to modify any schedules that may be set as necessary to secure a just and expeditious determination of the issues. Second, find that as the petitioner's electric distribution company, JCP&L's interests are unique and significant with regard to any obligation to net meter the solar generation of the DSM facility and how the company will treat other similarly situated customers and thus grant JCP&L's intervention status. Third, find that Bloom has not made a showing that its interest in this matter warrants granting its motion to intervene, given the need for prompt and expeditious administrative proceedings, and accordingly deny Bloom's motion for intervention. And finally, find that Bloom has an interest in this matter and may add constructively to the case as a participant without causing undue delay or confusion as a participant.
Did we designate some to be the presiding commissioner?
I believe you designated yourself, sir.
I did, that's what I thought. Yes, I vote for that. Any questions or comments?
I'll move it.
Second.
Now, any questions or comments? Roll call.
On the motion to approve staff's recommendation, Commissioner Holden,
Yes.
Commissioner Solomon,
Yes.
Commissioner Chivukula,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
President Fiordaliso.
Yes. Thank you, Scott. And that brings us to miscellaneous item, which was discussed in executive session. Harold?
Good morning, Mr. President and Commissioners again.
Good morning, Harold.
Earlier, I presented to you an executive session outlining the steps staff has taken to move closer to fulfilling the goals of the Broadband Access Study Commission and bringing broadband to all residents of the state regardless of location or ability to afford. Based upon our discussions, I ask that you approve the release of the RFR by the Office of the Chief of Staff.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? As was discussed, this legislation was passed in July of this year and designated the Board of Public Utilities to be the lead agency in this. And the findings of this and the final report are due within a year. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please, Ada.
On the motion to approve staff's recommendation, Commissioner Holden,
Yes.
Commissioner Solomon,
Yes.
Commissioner Chivukula,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
President Fiordaliso.
Yes. Thank you, Harold.
You're welcome.
Are there any closing statements or comments? If not, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, Bob, we're going to cut you off now.
Oh, no!